Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kara Goodwin, and I'm the host of the Meditation Conversation, the podcast to support your spiritual revolution. And we are streaming this live stream today with Jamie Butler channeling Maitland. We're streaming this on the Conscious Awakening Network. So thank you to those of you who are joining us there. You might be watching this on Roku or Amazon Fire or on the Conscious Awakening Network platform. You might be watching the recording and notice that we have people who are going to be asking questions who've joined us. And you may be thinking, how did that happen? That's no fair. I wanted to be there. And you can be here. You can come to these webinars. I have these webinars at least once a month. And they're usually on the third Tuesday of the month at noon. And you can go to karagoodwin.com and there's a live stream events menu selection. You can see all the upcoming guests who are scheduled, and I keep adding to those. And you can register and be here with us and join in the fun live. But if you are watching the recording, welcome as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I am so excited to have Jamie Butler here. Hopefully we're both here. I want to introduce Jamie. I think everybody knows Jamie, but just in case you've stumbled upon this recording and this is a mystery to you, you are in for a treat. Jamie is incredible. She is a medium. She's been a medium since birth. She's a media personality and intuitive educator who's been working internationally for over 30 years. Her life's goal is to help people wake up to their infinite possibilities for healing, joy, and success by sharing deep knowledge of subtle light energy through hosting experiences, classes, and workshops. She uses humor to help shift perspectives and let go of learned behavior. And she believes in having fun while evolving. She's the author of With Love and Light, a true story about an uncommon gift, and the founder of the Center for Love and Light in Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome, Jamie. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Kara. What a wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Goodness.
I'm so thrilled to have you here, and we're going to be bringing in Maitland in a little bit, but I wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit just about yourself and how it works with you channeling Maitland, what we can expect, just whatever kind of comes to you in terms of an introduction.
Absolutely. Well, if you are new to trance channeling, it's where a person can allow a spirit to move through their body and speak to you directly. So that is my goal today. I work with a spirit named Maitland. She was actually the first spirit I trance channeled in my young 20s. I'm now a proud 51-year-old. So we've been doing this for a little while, and Maitland's been along the journey. She chooses to present herself as a 9-year-old, and she doesn't need to. Age is not a thing in the other dimensional world, but she likes to do that because she claims that it really helps people hear her message, especially if she's going to communicate something a little bit more like difficult or a little bit more intense. So she does so with a little bit of humor, which completely matches, up with my personality and how I like to teach in my classes. If you're sensitive already, whether that's intuitive, psychic, just a highly sensitive person, whether you're watching live or watching a recording, when you tap into somebody who is trance channeling, sometimes you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel a little lift or a shift. Sometimes this feels really wonderful. And so you can just kind of ride that energy lift. Sometimes for others, it's a little overwhelming. So if you find yourself in a position of being a little overwhelmed with the energy in the room or in your body, just kind of step back from your device. You don't need to close it up. You don't need to run away. Just kind of step back. Grab something to drink, nibble on like a little piece of chocolate or maybe some coffee or some good tea. That will help your body get grounded, activate your metabolism, put your energy back into the body. So today, I believe we are having a theme. And so I want to toss that back to you, Kara, about setting up the the structure of what we're going to be doing before we let Maitland in, or would you like me to bring her in while you are talking about the structure?
Oh, is that doable? It won't be distracting for you? You're such a pro. You're like, I can do it while I'm driving. What are you talking about?
Holy cow. No, I've never been. That's such a funny thought. No.
Maitland's like, come on, let's try it. Let's get in the car right now.
You know her really well. Of course she would pitch that idea. Oh my God. So funny.
Maybe I'm channeling her. Wait a minute. Am I channeling?
Check. You got to check.
I'm happy to do that while you get going if you want to. I know that we're going to kind of have Maitland right up until the time that we leave in 1 hour. So everybody can say goodbye to Jamie.
Oh, yes. Say goodbye to me now. And if you are someone who is practicing their clairvoyant skills, ability to see subtle light energy, check out between my shoulder and my head, right about here. Not the wall, not me, but just kind of in the air. Sometimes you'll see an energy shift, even on a recording. You can see the little lift of light. So that's kind of fun. Just open your eyes, keep them open, soften your body, unfocus your gaze. Look right there. And I'm going to say goodbye. Kara, you got the wheel. I will see you later. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Thanks, Jamie.
Bye for now.
Okay.
This feels really weird to say bye in advance. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to let this transition happen. Like she said, you can pay attention to that area there between her shoulder and her head. And in the meantime, I want to let everybody know that we will be accepting questions from participants in a little bit. So I'll just have you either raise your hand or you could type them in the chat. I'm going to ask a few questions to get us going. And our theme today is the summer solstice for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, it is, of course, the winter solstice, but it's a special day nonetheless. So we're going to be talking about planetary alignments and general kind of ascension. So we'll keep the questions on point rather than having specific personal questions. And it looks like Maitland's here. Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, I'm
Hi,
so
everybody.
excited that you're here. Thank you so much. You're getting a lot of waves here from people on camera.
Yay.
Well,
I'm so ready to talk about anything and everything about everything.
Yay. We're going to cover it all. Thank you. This is going to be amazing. Okay, so I don't know if you caught what I was saying when you were entering, but today is the solstice. So we have this planetary shift that's happening right now. We've got a full moon tomorrow. And I'd love for you to start by just talking about why this is so important. What's the importance of this type of planetary energy that happens with solstices?
Well, before you talk about the solstice energy, I think it's really important that you talk about paying attention to the universal energy that's coming in all the time. Because I think it's too much sometimes for your day-to-day routine and your humanness to pay attention to an extra layer of energy that's coming in. Because at this time, what makes it so different than the years before, and I'm going to talk like time is linear, but it's not linear, but just to make it easier for you to understand in conversation. So the times before, when we've had solstice and equinoxes and planetary alignments and things of that nature, the energy that has been coming in has kind of been more familiar, but over the last several years, the energy that's coming in is quite new, and the frequency is very different than what you're used to receiving or bathing in. So it's kind of like always bathing in a bath water that's the same temperature as your skin. And so you just kind of stop paying attention to it. But now that the energy is coming in as a higher frequency and it's denser and lighter at the same time, I know that's confusing, but there's more of it coming in. That's what makes it dense. But the more of it is a lighter or finer frequency. And so now it's like getting into the bathtub and it's like hot water. It's a hot tub. And so you're making adjustments. And sometimes people are making adjustments and you don't even give credit where it's due, but you start getting irritated and frustrated and very stressful about common things. And you're like, I don't know why this is happening to me. And this is very irritating. I used to be able just to go over there and do that and come home. And now it takes all day. And sometimes it takes you 2 days to even think about going over there and then coming right back. It could be something very simple. And so that's because of the different energy that's coming in. But when you were asking about the solstice energy, when we're changing seasons and passing the baton from one energy, which spring is very much about the growth and coming into, and now we're coming into summer where it's almost like storing up all the energy and you get a lot of boost of excess energy that you can carry. Some people, it just invigorates them so much. They just do everything that they possibly can while the sun is out. And then, of course, they take their hibernation like they're bears in the winter and just kind of sleep or move slowly during that time. And the solstice right now likes to bring in this energy of community. Like, pull your people together, know who your people are, and be open to receiving those that are attracted to you. So it's a lot of the law of magnetism. The law of attraction is coming in right now, especially in the first half of the summer. And it's going to be a lot about community, family, relationships, and friendships. So it's a really good time to reassess who you're keeping around you and if that magnetism is still strong enough for you. Because if it's not, it's okay right now when the excess energy is coming in to say, thank you so much for being in my life for a reason, a season, or what's the other one? A lifetime. A reason, a season, or a lifetime. But it wouldn't be a lifetime if you're saying goodbye. But thank you so much for being here and supporting me. And now I get to attract what frequency and vibration I'm in currently. You turn.
Well, I love that, and I see that in my own life. And I'm also noticing that there seems to be some disharmony. I'm seeing this with a lot of people, including myself, where it's like things are kind of bubbling to the surface, and there may be relationship, maybe a parent-child type of thing, for example, or somebody that's not like, okay, it's okay that that person kind of falls out of my life. It's like, no, we're a little bit more like in it for the long haul. So is that also like kind of a byproduct of the other side of the coin of what you're talking about?
It is a byproduct of it, because when you're looking at what attracts you, you're also looking at what does not attract you. But you're going to find the further you go down your spiritual awareness or evolution, ascension, whatever word you want to put onto it, you're going to find that there's less of a human thinking of cause and effect, yes and no, right or wrong, or the opposite side of the coin, because you're recognizing that where you focus your energy is what you bring to you. And so you're going to start using words and language, action, focus, and attention towards what you want to manifest. So even if now you were looking at a relationship and saying, well, that's a little difficult. I don't know how to manage that one, but I can't say goodbye to this person because they need my care. Like you're care providing for them, or they're younger. And it's not like you can say, go do you. And you've made that promise, and you notice that there's difficulty with your new muscles and the new way that you hold energy. That difficulty wouldn't even be labeled a difficulty. It would be labeled as, well, not really like a label, but it would be seen and accepted as an opportunity to strengthen the relationship. And it wouldn't even bring up the emotions of like frustration and I'm not getting what I need. It will bring up more of a surprise and a curiosity. And how well can I get to know this person that I thought I knew so well before? So it's a different frequency altogether.
Oh,
Oh,
I love that. Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we have Rick here with a question. Let me add you in here, Rick.
Okay, how's that?
That's great.
Okay, hello, Maitland. I can't hear you now.
Oh, I was whispering.
Oh, okay. I'll put my ear closer to the speaker then. No, what I'm wondering, several years ago, I met a shaman and he did a ceremony with me. And then I worked on him several years after that. And when I found out we were living in the same town, I met him in Sedona. We cooked up again several years later in North Florida. And I found out that when he told me where he lived, I could open my front door and see his house on the other side of the street, right there. And so anyway, he was having some back pain. So I went down and he asked me if I'd work on him. I gave him a 90-minute massage, deep muscle, and he felt better. The next day, he walked down to my house, and his guides, he refers to them as old ones. There's 12 Native American guides, and the patriarch of those guides, he calls grandfather. And he came to my house and he said, Rick, the old ones have been talking about you. And of course, I didn't say anything. When I'm with a shaman, I'm a student, And he said, they've given you a name. And again, I didn't say anything. And he said, they call you Wahatakoma. And I didn't say anything again. And he repeated it, Wahatakoma. And then he said, it means he who heals the healers. And I said, whoa, Tuna, his name was Tuna. And I said, whoa, Tuna. I said, I am honored and humbled that your guides would see that light in me. And now my question is, I don't know how to manifest the innate abilities of a Wahatakoma.
You have to believe in the message. That's the thing that's left. So, a lot of times people on Earth, when they get their messages from others and you're very keen to listen and you're very open, and we really appreciate that because it makes connection to otherworldly frequencies more open and easy. And so if you're focusing now on how do you grow into Wahatakoma, that's the question, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Kara. Maitland.
I can be a ma'am. I'll put on a ma'am attitude. The biggest thing is to understand that the healer, like the definition of healer or heal, to heal, simply means to change, to grow. And so it's possessing a variety of frequencies. And this is for everybody. When you go in to get a healing session and you go in to like receive energy, so you're picking up on masculine energy and feminine energy and neutral quality energy. And the healer activates neutral, negative current energy. And negative current energy is related to the earth, to women, to the moon, to the feminine qualities, because the feminine qualities like to change in their lifetime. Like when they get pregnant and they give birth, they're more likely to shift appearance and attitude to get what they want. And as a man and as a healer, then you need to also be able to activate that energy. And so if you're looking to expand, I would slow down and look at your ability not as a healer, but a changer. And I think that might help the definition, because your light and your energy is so humble and it's so grounded that if we were to give you a bunch of like accolades and gold and labels of wondrous things, you would say, but why? And what do I do with this? And you would spend a lifetime giving it away, because you don't feel you need to have that to know who you are. So when you're bestowed something, it gets a little confusing for you because your light and your frequency is so happy just to be who you are naturally without name. and to give freely without greed. So I would start looking at the definition of what it means to change and to grow and how you want to offer this to others. But in the offering, think of the definition of trade. So you're a changer who does trade. Basically, that can translate to wahatakoma, and that you receive when you give out, so that you always have great balance. And I agree with Tuna's assessment of your energy and who you are and how you show up in the world. You are the one who helps those who help others.
That's so
Does it
you,
make
Maitland.
sense?
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Ahoma
for-
takwasam. That's the Lakota word. Jamie says it all the time. I lay all of who I am at your feet. It's the deepest point of gratitude and connection.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Rick. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Kara.
All right. Next, we have our friend Lori. Hello, Lori.
Hi, Kara.
So good to see you. Go ahead and ask your question.
It's good to see you too. I think you'll like this one, Kara, because it's kind of like what you and I talk about. Hi, Maitland. I think is she muted? I can't hear her. Or is she doing
No, I was
whispering?
whispering.
You're whispering again. Okay, got it. I wanted to follow up on something you just said in the Q&A with Jamie that I was in last hour. And I think it will apply to everybody. Like you often, anytime I ask questions, you often talk about me understanding timelines and astral travel and being in two places at once. That is a constant thing that I'm always seeing and feeling. And you had said something about, leaving messages for star people to find because everything is happening in the now. So can you elaborate on that? Like, how would we do that? What are the best types of things that we want to talk about in doing that? I had much more I could ask, but I'll stop there and let you in.
It came from because somebody was wanting to, take notes or document on something. And when you think about archaeology, you think about all of the civilizations that are being discovered that are thousands and thousands of years old, and how we look at the bones and how the structure of the flowers were laid out, or how the gold was positioned to the animal, to this and that. And we're trying to figure out their stories. And it's like, now with your consciousness rising so much, again, you can call it ascension, spiritual awareness, things like that. You are coming into this like, oh, wait, we are communicating across timelines. Even if you want to pretend that time is linear, a straight line, it's not. But if you want to pretend, archaeology goes back in time and discovers things and tries to learn about it. Well, you are currently the past of someone else. And so if you can document and write down your stories and your spiritual awakeness and journey, then those that are in the future, just pretending, in the future are looking back on your information and your blogs and your podcasts and your notes that you've left yourself, and they are discovering the evolution of them by reading what you're leaving behind. So it's really important to document and write down so that others can learn how you climbed through your awareness to activate your higher frequencies. This is not the first time that the Earth has done this. It's been through several rotations of complete wisdom, unity, ultimate peace, and then, devastation, whether that was natural or through war and through fires, and then they've come back again. But somehow in this evolution, you kind of got stuck on the story of just, there was no life, and then life in the water, and then life on land, and then it was like apes that came to people, and then here you are. But you kind of missed a lot. So you're learning. So how nice would it be for you to leave that information down so people who are traveling time in its proper sense can see your notes and understand who you are, where you come from, and how that would help people in the future as well.
Okay, that's super helpful. Is it, sorry, Kara, can I ask like a follow-up to
Sure.
that? So with that information, because I actually am starting to write my third book, but more of like an autobiography. And I guess what I'm struggling with is how transparent do you go with your own personal life, or do you keep it more broad, high level, or do I need to get in there and tell them everything? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. And that is very personal. But
Mhm.
other people are having those experiences too. And they don't know what to do with them. And they're
Okay.
very like weary and afraid and trying to keep it on lockdown. I got so excited. Hold on.
I did too, because that's what I've been trying to decide if I go full tilt, and I can tell you're saying yes.
Yes, because when people on earth get to the place where you can be completely vulnerable, honest, and share all the experiences and frequencies inside of you, and it is received with acceptance and openness, like in what you would call, in your judgment way, you would call it normal. We're going to call it normal, and you're not different. You're not weird. But when people hit that place of being able to be exactly who they are and it's accepted without judgment, that's when you have your world peace. That's when everybody is working together. And that is what you're going to. So why not be that like spiritual warrior and brave person and pull out your courage and write those details down? Yes, you're going to get some people who are going to judge it and talk about it fiercely. But that's what it means to be you. To speak up, to allow other people to have their opinions. It's their opinions. Their opinions do not shape you or make you. You do. So, some people say, well, you have to have tough skin and you have to let what people say like fall off of you. You don't have to ignore them. Ignoring doesn't protect you, and engaging with them doesn't mean you like or love what they say, but the engagement action helps you accept that they have opinions and that it's okay that they have opinions. As long as you are physically safe, it's your job. You're the janitor of this body. You have to keep it clean. You have to keep it healthy. So you want to think about that, even though no matter how high you get in frequency and levels and dimensions, you're still going to carry that body. That's the purpose of the earth. So I'll pause. I could talk the whole hour.
Thank you.
But I will pause.
Thank you, Maitland. Thank you, Kara.
I love it. Thank you, Lori. That was a great question. All right, we've got Vlad and B. Hello, I'm so happy to see you.
Hi,
Hello,
physical.
Kara. Hello, Maitland.
Hi.
Kara, first of all, I'd like to thank you and Jamie for organizing these. And Jamie and Maitland, we love you. And we love all the Olympic family. We'd like to ask, everything is a cycle in this world, and the solstice is the peak where the light of the day is the highest. Do we have the ability to concentrate this energy to manifest what we'd like to obtain in our physical life, or it's like any other day?
Oh, it's not like any other day. It's really wonderful because you get the most sun today. Today is it. So even the plant life is celebrating, the tree life is celebrating, animals are behaving different, and you're an animal. So you're behaving differently, and it is a perfect day to collect all of that which you want to put energy into and acknowledge it so that it can get an extra boost today. So it's like putting a bunch of fertilizer and giving it a lot of nutrition that it needs to grow. It is very powerful, like Vlad's saying, to pay attention to where your thoughts are and where your emotions are being directed on special days like the solstice, and on special days where the planets are in certain alignments, because that allows other frequencies from the universe and from the galaxy to come in and to hold what you're thinking and match it with an emotion. And it's like putting electricity. Oh, sorry. Hi, microphone. It's like putting electricity together, and it makes it more, well, powerful is the word that comes to mind, but I really think there's a better word. I just can't find it quite yet.
Thank you so much, Mayor. We love you.
I love
Thank you,
you so
Kara.
much. Love
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you. Love you, B.
Thank you. That was a wonderful question. I appreciate that. Okay, next we have Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth.
Thank you for hosting this, Kara. Hi, Maitland.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I hope this question makes sense. Is solstice like a through line for like our soul evolution? Like I know that we're here to evolve our soul and as a collective. Is it a through line to other collectives like within the galaxy, within the universe, like the bigger picture?
You mean, does the energy from the solstice line up with other energy that
yeah.
help boost your evolution on Earth?
I think like that. Yeah.
Where are you from, Elizabeth?
Pardon?
I said, where are you from? You're definitely not a little Earth being. You're a star person, because the answer is yes, and you know it's a yes. That's a yes.
Okay, yes. And there comes the trust thing. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. But you have to look outside of this universe.
Yes, I'm studying astrology. I sense, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Because mostly the universal energy that's coming in, you have felt most of it. And it's the frequencies that are now coming in from the galaxy outside this universe. So we're being fed frequencies from other universes that our galaxy holds. And it's coming in to help us evolve quicker and quicker and quicker. And it's more on a humanity level. It's more on an emotional level. We're not talking just strictly about intelligence. It's more of I am love, and see that person over there? They are love. I am them. They are me. I and I. And that's what helps when we have our consciousness plugged in together, mass consciousness. We have more access to frequency than ever before. Like, there are many cultures on Earth that had a little bit of that idea, like the Egyptians, the Atlanteans, the Lemurians, the Samaritans, so many more. So hopefully, I don't know if you'll be here for the end experience of how that is going to be on Earth, because I don't know the life choices that you'll make in this, in your incarnation, but you'll definitely be participating in helping it happen.
Thank you, Maitland. I appreciate that. That is so great. I was afraid to ask that question. I'm so happy I did.
Oh, I'm so happy you asked that question.
I am too. That was a killer question. That was
yeah.
such a great
Yeah.
question. Thank you. We have had some amazing questions. Thank you, everybody. We've got Julie here. She's asked her question on the chat, so I'm going to read that.
Wait,
She is wondering, as the seasons change and we face change in life, how do we face deep grief with resilience? I'm trying to survive my grief. I'm overwhelmed by it. How do we move through grief, especially in the feeling of profound and deep loss, knowing we're all connected and there's much beyond here?
that is a very well expressed question. I wanted to say one sentence about the other one, just for Elizabeth to have a visual, and for everybody else. You know, we have an energetic body, and this will pertain to the grief question. We have an energetic body that has highways and byways, like meridians, and we have the earth that has ley lines, it has energy lines, and even in the universe, there are lines. So if you kept pulling back and pulling back, you would still see like a blueprint of an energetic structure. And that energetic structure is what gives the flow to certain frequencies and energies. And like a Rubik's Cube, the little puzzle game thing, when you turn it and match it and they all get the same colors, it like allows for a finished product. And so when the planets and everything are rotating, it allows certain frequencies and energies to roll in, just to give you a visual. And so when we look at the human body and how it holds grief, how it can hold grief over, certain loss. So when I talk about grief, and I don't mean to be rude or forward by any means, but I wonder if you can step back and sit with me for a second and look at what it really is, because grief and sorrow and bereavement are very real, but they're very self-centered. They're very selfish. So grief comes up when a person says, I used to have that, and now I don't have that. And now this is me learning how to behave and identify who I am without that. And I loved that. And I don't want to stop loving that, but it's no longer here. And so it is an amplified version of a poor me and a victim energy. I'm not saying that that is good, and I'm not saying that that is bad. I'm just observing and talking about it because it's good to know that that is its true source. And the human body is made of denser frequencies. It needs to be because it contains what you consider solid matter, but it's not really solid matter. It just has denser frequencies. And the body would like to hold the grief and the sorrow in the lungs and in the large intestines. And these are the two parts of your body that can release. You know, you release air and you release your bowels. It said bowels. But if you are not taking care of the physical body when you are experiencing your grief and sorrow, then your physical body will hold on to those frequencies even harder. So it can kind of not really work against you, but work in saying, I see that you're valuing those frequencies, so we're going to do our best to anchor them into our body. I'm going to follow your lead and make sure that we can keep them. So taking on breath work, and I would say looking at somatic work.
Yes.
Somatic.
Yes.
It's like some movement and position, but it's breath work. And that will help you with the concept of letting go, because you need to let go of your breath. You have to get the breath out of your body. So if you really do have a belief system and understanding that we are all one, then where is the grief coming from? And I think where that comes from is the lack of understanding that when somebody does leave their physical body, the relationship is not over, but the relationship with the physical presence has shifted. So now it's about learning how to have a new relationship with your loved one, whether that is plant, animal, person. You know, you develop a new relationship, and you do have all the abilities to have new relationships with spirit. Like that's one of my favorite classes to, I don't know if Jamie would say this, but I like to teach alongside Jamie in the one class, the series that she has about building new relationships with loved ones. And so when you come in, you pick that loved one that's in spirit, and you're like, that's the person I want to communicate to, or that's the animal I want to communicate to. And then the class is taught to you discovering what that new relationship is. And all of us spirits show up from the students in the class, and we all talk and contribute to the class content. It's a lot of fun, and it's so nice to watch people realize that, because sadness occurs, but it also stops you from discovering who that person, animal, or plant turned into. I mean, there's so many wondrous new things that they could share with you and be with you all the time. So if you really had that belief system that you are part of the whole, then that would be very natural for you to take on. But if there's some glitch in it, like holes like Swiss cheese, and you know it, but you can't embody it, then you need to sit down with your belief system, because maybe you're saying the words, but you're not connecting to it at all. So you might have another need in your body that you have to take care of and address to make sure that you're okay before you can go into that belief system a lot more.
That's so powerful. And Julie says that's so helpful. Thank you. I have never really thought about that, of like we're reinforcing, like the body is just responding with what we're holding on to. And if we're continuing to say this, I like this frequency, even when we don't, but we keep bringing it in, that's really powerful.
But the
I,
body is
yeah,
a really good servant. It will serve you. So if you're telling it that's what you want, it will make it so.
that's fascinating. There was something when you had that add-on to Elizabeth's question where you were talking about the ley lines and the meridian system. It kind of prompted me. I wasn't sure if I was going to ask you this, but last week I had kind of a quantum experience, an inward experience, but I was seeing all these grid lines, and it was like almost like an infinite skyscraper. It went as high as I couldn't see the top of it, couldn't see the bottom, couldn't see how far out it went. And then there was this opening in the middle, and I understood all those grid lines as frequency, and whichever one I tune into, I can connect with, and then loved ones or guides can travel on those to connect with me. And I was even hearing like I called it the Charlie Brown teacher. And
Wah, 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 wah.
yes, but I couldn't pick it up, but it was but it felt like you were there, Maitland. And I'm like, were you there?
Because I wanted to be there because you were getting so serious about things. And when you get really serious and focused on subtle light energy, it will go away. So you have to bring up a curiosity and a childlike lift, which is part of the reason why I like to present myself like this, because it's non-threatening. And it helps you stay in the content because you don't feel threatened. And then possibly you stay longer and you discover something that you weren't, able to hear before. So I showed up to help you like stay creative and playful, and you start to see the patterning in all of what you were experiencing.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And in the notes, this was like the last question that I was going to maybe ask if there was time and it felt right. And the question that I wrote was like, is there anything I can do to make the connection clearer? And then I wrote in parentheses, she will say, relax more, surrender, release. And you basically.
I did. That's what I said. I find it so interesting because sound and frequency is sound, is going to be, it is the number one healer. It's the number one thing on earth that makes matter. It's all sound. It's all vibration. And it vibrates. And when it vibrates, it puts out a frequency. And it puts out a frequency that when we observe it with reflection of light, we get color. Or when we tune into it, we hear it in hertz and we hear it in notes. But it's all matching up together. And if you learn in your spiritual journey that the sound, that how sound can create matter, like speaking things into existence, singing and toning to bring certain frequencies to heal, to eliminate disease, illness, pain, chronic pain, then you're going to quickly find, and this is what should be coming out somewhat this year in inventions and innovations. And it might not be so mainstream because other big people that are kind of greedy are pushing this knowledge down and hiding it. But just stay as focused as you can. Just know that good holistic healing is coming and it's very real. But when you discover it, that's how people will use healing centers and hospitals. There'll be machines that create sound. And then you'll find that in those machines and those certain frequencies is how you can have your, what you might call astral body projection, so that you can be on the same plane or dimension as your loved ones and have moments of connection too.
Wow, that's exciting.
Oh,
I love
it's
it.
not far away.
Yay. Okay, good. Well, we have a question from, I just see iPhone, so I'm sorry I don't have your name to ask who asked this question. Or maybe it's just an iPhone that just typed this out. That'd be, so the future is now. It's just all happening right now. She or he says, Maitland, what do we need to know about Earth changes for the rest of the year?
Well, for this year, it's a shake 'em up and knock 'em down kind of a feeling. There's a lot of storms. There's a lot of weather patterns. So if you're in the hurricane area and just outside of it, you're going to be touched by a hurricane. If you're in a tornado zone, even outside of that tornado zone, you're going to be touched by one. So I would say for weather shifts and things, to make life easier, go ahead and stock up your house for you, every person, every animal in your house, including your fish and all of your plants that need food and things, to stock up for at least 2 weeks. It's not a lot. And what happens is, like, people on Earth are so resourceful. If you can sustain for 2 weeks, by the time 2 weeks is over, all of your food and water and milk and things like that nature are available back in the grocery stores. So it's not like you have to sustain for long periods of time. But if you have that, then you can turn to your neighbor and, give help. I would also think about things that need electricity. So having something that is battery operated or has a generator, that would be helpful, and getting like a propane tank to help you with your cooking and things of that nature. Think of camping for 2 weeks. What do you need? But the weather is definitely going to come, and we could have a longer conversation about this, but it's not really related to all of the pollution and the, what's it called when the climate change. It's kind of related to the climate change, but not so much to the pollution. But the magnetic fields on the Earth are also inching away and being accessed differently. And the Earth this year is just going to do some shaking and a rolling. I hope that helps with your question.
Thank you. Okay, we have Vlad and B again.
Thank you again. Thank you again. I didn't want to ask a question, but for everybody have an opportunity, but because there's an opportunity, I'll ask. Thank you again for taking my question. So I'm a very left brain work person, and during the day, all day on a computer, by the time the day is over, it's very hard to unwind and to shift to the right brain and to relax and enjoy happiness of life. Does the position of the planets and the grid lines and everything is going around affecting us achieving that happiness and right brain energy back, or is just a state of mind that has to be changed?
The state of mind has to be changed, Vlad.
Thank you.
I would say the first thing is get into your music. Where's your music? And put your music on when you're ready to balance out, and let the right brain share what the left side, the analytical side, likes to do. Because if you're not giving it a clue, like a hint that, hey, this side you get to power down now, and you're not doing a specific exercise to power it down, then listening to music, which is a creative aspect, will help power up the right side of the brain. But if you wanted to take home some exercises, I would definitely suggest doing the monotask exercise, because that makes both sides of your brain work together really well. And the more that you do the monotasking, the more the left side of your brain that runs all your day-to-day tasks and routines says, okay, I get it. You do have wisdom. It's just different than mine. Okay, I understand that you do have opinions and directions and so forth, and so it will start to balance out and communicate to each other. But if you don't do exercises like that to get them both on the same page, then you're just going to have one of those things where you flip from one and flip to the other, flip from one and flip to the other.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great question too. Okay, we have Brian wanted to know, what are twin flames and is it real?
Oh, a twin flame? It's real, but you have to look at it like, the names are kind of funny. If you want to know my opinion, I think the names are funny. But you have to look at what is your soul? What's your spirit? Because it's a mix of a consciousness that you have, and it's a certain like cluster of frequencies that has your identity on it. And when you have that mass consciousness that kind of has your identity on it, you then have the freedom to choose which lives that you want to incarnate into. And remember, time's not linear. It's kind of stacked on top of itself. So you could think about all the incarnations that you've chosen. They're like books, boom, 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 and they're stacked. And you have this, awareness and this consciousness, which is what keeps you in the one book, in the one chapter, in the one page, on the one letter. And that's your present now moment. But when you access this mass consciousness of you, your soul, it is whole in and of itself, but it also had to divide to end up in every single book. Boom, 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 like that. And so each book is not just a part of, it is whole in and of itself. Like, you are a whole energetic being. but you are part of a bigger you. And so the concept is scientifically called Holon, Holon. And so when you start to look at soul families and soul groups, so go soul groups, soul families, soul mates, twin flame. So the twin flame concept is that it is a version of you that you are meeting. So basically you are meeting an incarnation of your own energy and you are face to face. Can that happen? Oh, yes, it can. I've seen it. It happens. Then you look at, well, what other, do we go down that rabbit hole or is it just about the twin flame?
Oh, go ahead. If you're feeling called to further it, go ahead.
And then you look at soulmate and you're like, well, is the soulmate just different variations of me? Is my whole soul family just different variations of me? And I will say to this, no. And I will say, yes, because it's not you in the essence that it is another cluster of consciousness that is choosing to incarnate into other lives. And your consciousness is engaging in its consciousness. So going back and forth. And so it's not necessarily going to be seen as an expression of you like a twin flame would be. Twin flames are kind of difficult if you want to ask. And then you look at your family, not really a version of you. It's others that are incarnating into groups and helping you have experiences. But the yes answer that it is you again and again and again is that we're all made from the same conscious energy. And that's a universal truth. We're all generated and created and come from the same source of light and energy. So if you raised your frequency up and you accessed your higher consciousness, and then you went above higher consciousness to access kind of all the information, then you could tap into the memories and the experiences of every life lived on Earth. Cleopatra, Julius Caesar. I don't know why I'm stuck in Greece or Egypt. I can't remember. The martyr woman.
Oh, Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc. Like you could pull up all of their memories and their experiences. And the glitch with your humanness is it says, if I'm remembering that, then I must have been them. But yes, you are of the same thread, but your consciousness that you have developed might not have been present within her as she was doing her actions, but you have access to that information because you're made from the same source.
Oh, mic drop. Well, can you have more than one twin flame?
You can. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
incarnate multiple times to the same timeline, same location to engage, but mostly it's not really done because it's really mentally difficult to view one's self like that. It's like it's a really big challenge. Not a lot of the twin flames come out as the most romantic thing you've ever seen. I don't know why it's painted like that. It's more like, I love you fiercely and I hate you fiercely. It's a way, seriously, it's like a way to jumpstart all of the agreements and the contracts that you've decided to do in one life. Like it's somebody who says, I have 100 contracts and agreements that I'm going to do in this lifetime, when let's say like the average is 3. And this person's like, I have 100. And so if you bring in your twin flame and you're playing that role amongst your own knowledge and own self, it's really intense and it's a fast forward game.
That makes sense. I think we only have time for one more question, and we have Ciara, I hope I'm saying that correctly, asks about the law of attraction, because you mentioned earlier that this is a good time to practice the law of attraction. So she was asking what the best way is to do that.
Well, there's not one best way. So I'll word it this way. I want you to do something that excites you. Like if you're a ritual person, find a ritual or create one yourself. Where it's maybe light a candle, you write it down, you burn it, you release it, something like that. You get a crystal, you talk to it, you program your crystal with what you want to manifest, and you offer it to the moon and the sun. It would be better to offer it to the sun today. And then, or anything like that, find something that you're really called to, because if you like something and you get excited about it and you like doing it and you're kind of humming to yourself as you're doing the steps, your energy is so invested and it's powerful that way, and you'll get more of a result. But if you follow somebody else's direction, then sometimes you get lost in making sure you did all the steps right. And then you're like, I don't know, we'll just see if it worked. And then your energy just goes and kind of walks away from it. So the really interesting thing is you have a lot of leaders on earth right now that are saying, this is the way to do it. And this is how to show up. And this is how to get successful. And when you walk a spiritual path like this with subtle light energy, all of that is like, whatever. It's what is attractive to you. So if you're a creative, you can get very creative. If you're a bath taker and you like essential oil, you go get in that bath and you get your essential oils. And what I would ask, though, is in any of these expressions that you're going to use to gather your thought, is that you either spend 3 minutes focusing on what you want to manifest and pull to you, or 7 minutes, or 11 minutes. Because these are the markers in the brain that change the neurotransmitters. So if you can hold that thought constantly for 3 minutes, maybe it's looking at a picture that helps you remind you of what the success is, and you pretend that you already done it and you can feel all of your success from achieving it. You do that for 3 minutes. You will anchor that into your body, and your body will go, oh, that's what she's doing. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's work on that. You do it for 7 minutes. Your body goes, oh, that's what she's doing. Oh, and this is what it's like. Now we're going to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. You do it like 11 minutes and it goes, oh, that's what we're calling to us. We don't have any more, clarity questions anymore. We kind of got this. But sometimes it's hard for the mind to focus that long on an outcome. So you just have to really prep and do whatever you can, active, action-wise and instrument and tool-wise, to get your mind and your heart to get on the same page and to project that. And if you're doing that today with the solstice energy, you're going to get a lot of extra energy in on it. You'll find that it's easier for you to say yes when your manifestation starts to show up in your life. You'll identify it easier. You go, oh my God, that's a part of it. That's a yes. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to me. And you have somebody else? Great, bring them in. And you find your confidence, you find your language around it, and you're saying, yes, 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 thank you, yes. But otherwise, sometimes it'll come to you and you know what you're manifesting. You're like, oh, I don't know. Are they about to take advantage of me? I don't really know. No, thank you, not right now. And then you leave and 3 days later, you're like, oh, I should have said yes. That's when you had a taste of it and you were attracting it, but you just weren't ready to say yes. So spending that 3, 7, or 11 timeframes on it on a daily basis, you'll get your results a lot quicker.
Oh, wow. I love that practical application. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow, Maitland, we are already at the top of the hour. This has just been incredible. I am so grateful to you for being here today, and for Jamie and your team. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here today and for these amazing questions. This has just been incredible.
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I guess we'll say goodbye. I know that I don't want to keep you longer than the hour, but I really appreciate you being here.
I really enjoyed being here. Thank you so much for having me and hosting all the questions. And I want to say thank you to Colleen for holding this space so that I can come in.
Thank you. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful solstice, everybody.
Yes. We'll see you later, alligators.
After a while, crocodile.
I'll see you soon, baboon.
What's the polar bear one? See you there, polar bear.
You win.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. We said bye at the same time.